Greetings. Bear with me as I try to collect my thoughts that I want to share with you all concerning reparations. Not just reparations, but the recent task force that have been put together concerning it. One in Illinois, now in California. And I wanted to share with you my thoughts concerning it, something for you all to consider. First of all, I don't believe that reparations should be addressed and dealt with on the state level. I believe it should be addressed and dealt with at the federal level. And some of the reasons are this. We risk the chance of being cheated out of all that is rightfully owed and due to us. Because if reparations are done by the state, it will be based on the state's ability to pay whatever the task force determines is owed and due. And each and every state has a different budget. So you could receive less reparations based on what particular state you live in, depending on the capacity it has to actually give you the things that have been determined you are owed and due under reparations. You know, that opens the gateway for us to be cheated. That opens up the gateway for us to be given unequal portions of what is claimed to be reparations based on whatever task force is gathered together to assess the harm and damage. So I believe that reparations should be focused at the federal level. It was made at that level. It should stay at that level. It should be one package across the board that addresses all who are entitled to reparations. That's another issue that has come up, whether reparations should be by race, simply because you're a Black American here in America, or by lineage, meaning you would have to have the ability to trace that that you are in fact a descendant of an enslaved African here in America. I started this page because the HR 40 bill, for the first time after 30 years of being virtually ignored in the halls of Congress, reached national attention. And in light of that, it was given a lot of attention, a lot of hearings were made, and it looked like it had a good chance of doing this study, the purpose of which to determine exactly what was done and what should be given to give a make whole remedy, okay, reparations, so that it would ensure that what occurred would not occur again, to alleviate the current existing harm and damage being done. I'm losing faith even in the HR 40 bill itself, because those in Washington have allowed it to take a back seat. And now everything else, including wars in the Ukraine, have taken preeminence. Okay, money is being taken out of this country and given to people in the Ukraine, whereas people of color in poverty, about to be homeless and suffering all other kind of things, the response is, we're broke. We don't have it for you. They have it for everybody else, but not for us. So in light of all of those things and us being on the ground economically and reparations being touted about nationally, I felt it's something that once they got on, they stayed on until the job was done and we all received reparations. Now you hardly hear a whisper. You hear all of these attempts by individual states to give us reparations. And when I look at what was done in Illinois, being called reparation, where you didn't even get to see the money or touch the money, it was on paper, we gave you $25,000 towards a new home, but you didn't actually see that money. The bank saw it. Those doing the construction of the home saw it, but you didn't get to touch it. Okay, give me money where I can do what I choose to do with it. and give me some land where I can choose that I'm going to reside on that land. You have no say so. That's the problem. You've been having say so over our lives ever since we got here. And now that we're allegedly free, you're doing the same thing, but you're legalizing it by laws, by zones, by policies. They keep us exactly where we are. So if we're going to fight this fight, it should be at the federal level, not on the state level. I don't agree with that at all. And now there are white churches who say they acknowledge their moral obligation, okay, to do right by Blacks wrongfully treated as a result of slavery, and they're taking their own measures, to give what they are calling reparations. You can call it what you want, but as far as I'm concerned, reparations will come from the federal government. The same is true for Illinois, California, any other individual states that wants to do their own little charity work, because that's all it's going to be concerning Blacks. That's what it is, charity. Your effort to do something about it. But reparations is to come from the federal government, and it is a make whole remedy to make restitution, to make reparations so that we come up economically, that we are covered for the harm done, the existing harm done, to where we no longer on the bottom, but have equal proportion to all things. That's what I'm talking about. And it's getting to the point where, why we got to sit down and have a conversation. I know and understand the reasons behind it, to assess what things, whether it's money or resources, where they should be appropriated to our people in order to alleviate the harm and the damage caused, the harm and damage still being suffered. I get it, but you're taking too long. And this task force is going to take at least 2 years for them to even come to some conclusions about what's owed and due. And then we're going to do what? Another round of 2 years before we actually get the money, while the United States continues to focus its attention every damn where else except people of color who helped build this country and made it wealthy. I believe, listen, we get first dibs, first attention, holla, right here. Okay, we the ones you said, give us your vote. Vote a man out of office and I'll see you when I get in office. You ain't seen us yet. Okay, we ain't get nothing for that vote. And then we got reparations thrown in our face, and that hit the back burner. Okay, we have nationwide protests for the murder of one man with a knee in the neck, and you couldn't even pass that. So I'm like, here, as far as waiting on these people, a task force to study what? You know what it is. You still doing it today. Okay, we need you to tell you what you're doing to us, or you need to see to the degree that we understand what you're doing to us. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to put that out there for consideration as far as these state efforts for reparations. I don't have, listen, do what you do, get what you can get, but don't call it reparations, because it put us in a predicament of the government saying, oh, you got your reparations, although it wasn't nearly half of what you was entitled to, because like I said, the states don't have the ability to give that type of reparations because of the degree to which the damage and harm is done. They ain't got it. Okay, if they would have to turn over the entire state and everything in it, and still probably would owe. So I'm for, listen, the federal government, you said that, that's what you're gonna do.